the top now. No, nothing can move you.
Well, I guess it's official. Kyle Kulinskiki and his boo thing is 1,000,000,000% is going to push Marianne Williamson. Why? Because Kyle asked her to run and he got to save face. One of the most horrible choices to run for office, saving face. And why would I say horrible choice to run for office? Because her calling is not president. It's not. Her calling is spiritual advisor. Her calling is self-help, helping people through books and teachings. It is not through legislating. You got to recognize your calling. Trump calling is not president. I don't know why these people think, well, I'm successful over here, then I should be successful over there. No, Trump need to be in Trump Towers, Trump International. He's good at that. He make it that. I mean, that's his thing. He's a great businessman, a great brand businessman. Trump was making more money branding steaks and ties and shirts and stuff like that, branding golf courses, and it didn't even have to be his. It's like, look, I'll put my name on it. We go 50-50. That's his thing. Branding the White House ain't going to do nothing. Joe Biden is not his thing. Being president, you can see he's going to get us all killed up in this place. And Marianne Williamson place is not here. And I'm going to continue to prove that throughout this entire presidency, this entire race, because this is not our calling. Recently, Kyle Kulinskiki, right before Marianne Williamson decided to make it official, he began to comment on news agencies' pushback against Marianne. The word got out that Marianne Williamson may be running for president against Joe Biden. And immediately, the news attacks Marianne Williamson. Of course, they're going to attack Marianne Williamson. It is DNC News. The CNN is DNC News. MSNBC is DNC News. Sometimes Democracy Now, DNC News. TYT, DNC News. Secular Talk, DNC News. I can go on and on. Kristen Cow, DNC News. I can go on and on. All this is DNC promotion news and Republican shaming news. Likewise, with the Republican Party, they got their news outlet that is supposed to prop up the Republican establishment and crap on Democrats. There's no true meaning in between fair and balance on both sides except here. I don't like neither one of these news networks. I don't like none of these people running for office. I don't like, especially when you know this is not your thing, man. Go do your thing. Do this. This is what you call to do till the day you die. Do that. This ain't it. Recently, he tries to prove that the news media hating on Marianne Williamson is a threat.
Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it here. So, the smears are already starting against Marianne Williamson. This is not a surprise. We expect it. We also expect it's going to get...
Who is we, Kyle? Are you leading an army? Are you an analyst? Are you a reporter? Or are you a propagandist? Which one? Are you progressive news media for the Democratic Party? Who is we? Everybody expect her to get dumped on, not just you. Every Republican, every Democrat, every non-Democrat, everybody knows that she's going to get dumped on. That's the name of the game. You run for office, they're going to tell you why you're not qualified. It's the name of the game, dude. It doesn't prove anything. That's just the way it is, bro. Just the way it is.
Way, way worse as time goes by. We know that the Democratic establishment and their media goons like to play dirty, but this is very, very early in the process for the smears to start.
It's not early. No better time than now. Why we got to wait? She's already out there saying that she's thinking about it. The moment she put the exploratory committee out there, it was time to hit her. So it's not shocking. And Democratic establishment. What is a Democratic establishment? Everybody knows that that's just old talk, lefty talk, old progressive talk to make you think there's actual outsiders in the Democratic Party. No, if you're in the Democratic Party, running outside of the Democratic Party to change the party, if you're outsider running in the Democratic Party, that's an oxymoron. I became a prisoner to expose what prison life is. You can't expose the prison system unless you go on the inside as a prisoner. But guess what? At that moment, you're a prisoner. Them guards ain't bailing you out. You decided to go in there to report on what's going on. So you're going to get the full deal, dude. You're going to get treated just like a prisoner. So if you run in the Democratic Party in a establishment Democratic Party and you claim to be an anti-establishment, there ain't no anti-establishment in the Democratic Party. Everybody runs in the Democratic Party eventually becomes a Democrat.
So here's MSNBC. They're going to talk about how it is now all but official that Marianne Williamson will run against Joe Biden, and we'll dissect this. Here
Thanks
we go.
to you.
Heading into 2024, President Biden has drawn his first Democratic challenger. Best-selling self-help author Marianne Williamson has announced her plans to run for president. Williamson, a progressive Democrat, ran for the White House in 2020.
Again. So if you're a progressive Democrat, you got to be a Democrat with progressive views, right? Like I said, it's not about party. Progressive is not about a party, but you want to make it about a party. Progressive caucus, progressives. Progressive has nothing to do with partyism. So she is being held as a progressive. They're going to try to paint the picture. Kyle, TYT, Anna Kasparian, who you name it, Nina Turner, the squad, everybody else is going to try to paint her to be an outsider. She's an outsider for us. She's never been in the realm of being in a political position. She's a preacher, teacher, evangelist, so to speak, self-help guru, author. All those 5 things. She's more of a mental, mystical, metaphysical. These are her own words in her books and teachings, Kyle. She's that person. Is this what we're bringing to the White House? So, of course, they're going to attack her because she's a guru. She's a self-help guru. Whether you like it or not, she's a self-help guru. She get paid for it. She's a paid advisor to movie stars and to political people. Most of them elite, not regular, ordinary Joes. We couldn't afford her anyway, man. Her rates are high, man.
But she dropped out of the race just before the primaries and caucuses got underway. Joining us now.
Now, she dropped out. She did support Bernie. Why? Why did she support Bernie? Because she got to appear to be on the side of an outsider. She's not going to appear to be right away. At the last minute, she'll support Joe because Bernie's out the way. And she's always, when people run for office, they're running for not that power position. They're running for the next power position. They're not running for the current power position. They're running for the next power position because this is only temporal. You only can be president up to 8 years. So you're running for something that's going to last you for the rest of your life.
To discuss this, White House reporter for Bloomberg, Kayla Gardner. All right, Kayla, Marianne Williamson aside, does the White House anticipate other candidates jumping into the Democratic primary?
Yeah, look, I know this sounds like a joke. Marianne Williamson running for office as a progressive, as an outsider, to me, that's all hilarious. She ain't no progressive, no outsider. They're trying to hoodwink you, bamboozle. Obviously, Kyle is hoodwink and bamboozle. Kyle used to hate spiritual gurus and things like that. But now he's supporting one. Man, boy, I tell you, some older, let me be quiet. Ain't nothing like that older woman stuff, boy. They change your mind, boy. I'm not going there. I'm talking about, love and compassion from an older woman make your head think straight, right? They're in a lot of times these ladies, they're in a position of molding you and shaping you into their image, not yours. I'm gonna take this little immature things and mold them and shape them into my image. I'm not saying that's what's going on with them. I'm not saying that. But it seemed like Kyle is really, really changing. I mean, he was never a revolutionist anyway. But this move right here just make you look more of a weak, pandering, progressive Democrat, eventually support the eventual Democrat type of person. And he wants us to be the same way. And we're not, bro. We're not. And I'm not going to let my people do it. I'm going to educate my people on the truth about these political leaders, good, bad, and ugly. They may not throw pop shots, but I'm going to throw pot shots at the people running for office. It doesn't matter who it is. So buckle up, bruh. You bring them up and you talk pretty of them, I'm going to bring it, I'm going to expose them. So buckle up.
The longer that Joe Biden does not say he's running.
Now, let me interject here to say there's literally no way anybody who has a connection to the Democratic Party will run other than Marianne Williamson. Why? Because they're all good little boys and girls who wait their turn and stay in line and play patty cake with the establishment.
There you go with his attempting to show Marianne Williamson a renegade, a maverick, a revolutionist, a populist. She's against the status quo. Nobody else in the Democratic Party has said is going to run up against them. But anybody can be in the Democratic Party, like the brother I just talked about. He can run up against her. You actually think he's a good little boy waiting for this turn? I kind of doubt that. Not if he got his father's voice in his head. So a lot of people can run up against Biden. A lot of people know, number one, they don't want to deal with that hate. Number two, it's the, it's going, I mean, it's 4 years past. I can't explain it, but it's not easy against an incumbent president. And the people who supported him to get there isn't all of a sudden going to support you because they got to save face. It's just like Kyle in this situation. He got to save face now. He asked her to run. Now he's going to be propaganding for her all day long. He's not going to propagate for the Democrat Party. He ain't going to do that until she loses. But he's going to propagate the hell out of Marianne Williamson to try to make her seem like a Bernie Sanders type person, which ain't really saying much to me. That's showing that you eventually gonna fold and sell out and succumb to the DNC. Weakling, weak, feckless, no gonads, no balls, no nothing person, ovaries. You eventually gonna kiss the behind of Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden. Just one. Joe Biden butt tastes a little bit better than hers because you really didn't like her, but you and Joe Biden friends, so a little friend but kissing won't hurt me as bad. But there's plenty of people can run. They just don't want to. And it's not about them being wait your little turn. You decided to prop her up. This is on you.
So it's Marianne Williamson, and that's it. It's one-on-one, which...
Now he's making this attempt like another person can't enter the race. Joe Biden haven't even entered the race for a second term. It's more people can come. Nina Turner might can run. Rather her than her. And that's not saying nothing. Anybody else can run. You're hoping that's just her because you want everybody to get behind her. If they infiltrate the field like they did at the beginning with 15 people, like they did that brother in Jackson, Mississippi, with 17 people to run against him to keep him from having that seat, they'll do it. The moment Marianne Williamson will start to get some kind of, and I predict this, the moment Marianne Williamson start to get some traction, if she gets some traction, more people gonna get in the race, Kyle. More people gonna get in the race. Don't get too ahead of yourself, brother.
Again, is the best case scenario for Marianne Williamson, even though, of course, it's a massive, massive uphill climb either way.
I don't think the White House ever expected to get a serious challenger, and I wonder if they would even consider Marianne Williamson a serious challenger at that.
Didn't even get her name right. Marianne.
He getting butt hurt over them not getting her name right. I don't get her name right. I say Marianne Williams. Sometimes I say Williamson. Sometimes I say Marianne or Mary. Who cares? Okay.
Marianne Williamson is what she just said. I don't know if the White House will take her seriously.
Nobody's using that perpendicular voice right now, Cal. Stop. And she's not, come on.
Yes, yeah.
Nobody's taking her serious. Are you kidding me? Oh, get out of here. Get out of here. Marianne Williamson. Marianne who? Jim Croce? Who? Jim Williamson? Marianne Williamson? Who are you talking about? Who is she? Where is she?
Yes. Remember all the talk from the Democrats about how democracy is so important. We're saving the country from Donald Trump. He's doing an assault on democracy. We believe in democracy. Yes. Then all of a sudden, we try to exercise democracy, and they're like, democracy! You want to challenge the guy? Bro, he's an ironclad candidate.
Cal. Nobody's denying her the opportunity to run in this Democratic Party. She decided to run in a party that's already fixed, already anti-democratic. And you are part of the party, Cal. And you are trying to change the party from the inside. You are the founder of Justice Democrat. You're supposed to bring justice to this, knowing at the end of the day, the democratic rules and regulations, ways and means and bylaws and all that kind of stuff reigns supreme in the Democratic Party. It's not a democracy. It has nothing to do with democracy and everything about a corporation. And you know this. There's never been anything democracy about the Democratic Party. No, we're a corporation. We determine who we pick and choose to run for office, but we'll give you a head fake and make you think that you have a choice in the matter. But at the end of the day, it's our delegates that make the choice, our super delegates that make the choice, and it is our bylaws. And if you cannot follow our bylaws, if you can't demonstrate your submission to the DNC bylaws, then you cannot run in a Democratic Party. Now, you can appear to be an outsider. You can appear to be the person that's going up against the grain. But at the end of the day, whether you are so-called revolutionists, activists, if you don't win, you must support the eventual nominee. But at the same time, if it's not establishment, they're not going to support you. They'd rather support a Republican.
You can't beat him. It's not like he's 85 years old and can't complete a single sentence. Anyway.
And I think
I agree with Kyle. Joe Biden is too old to be running. He needs to step down. But the problem is, Kamala Harris is going to try to run, and that's a failure. Now you run a Kamala Harris ticket against Marianne Williamson, it's a tight chance. Right now, Marianne Williamson against Joe Biden. Joe Biden got most of the support from the party, and Marianne Williamson is not going to get that. He even got Bernie's support, but of course, Bernie's not going to crap on Marianne Williamson because he believed that Joe should be primary. He the one went around saying every president, there should not be a fast track to the presidency at all. Somebody need to challenge him and ultimately to push that president to the platform that serves the people. Which to me, this is all what it is. But she's not going to do. She's not Bernie Sanders, and she's not Barack Obama. Joe Biden's not Barack Obama, and Marianne Williamson is not Bernie Sanders. And if Joe Biden decides not to run, Kamala Harris is going to run, and the chances of Trump winning or DeSantis will highly increase. And because Democrats want to play this Democrat game, their decision to play this game is going to hurt everybody. Going to hurt everybody. We got too many weak politicians in the Democratic Party. We got too many weak people that's looking for anything that remotely look like it could be having a scent of Bernie Sanders on it. A small scent. Smell like Bernie Sanders will do with that.
I think they really risk here giving her too much attention, but it is going to be somewhat of an annoyance to have her out there openly criticizing Joe Biden. She's
risk giving her too much attention.
Yeah, risk giving her too much attention. The news media would not give Bernie Sanders no attention. Definitely would not give Tulsi Gabbard any attention, especially after that debate. Yeah. They don't have to give her no attention, Kyle. She's going to have to make headlines. But in the democracy, you should give the candidate running for office the attention. Well, you don't do that when third parties decide to run. You allow that party, and you're reinforcing it now, just with this Marianne Williamson candidacy, to put a limit on what a third party person, how they can get in the debate system. You're allowing them to manipulate the debate system. Now, bad enough, they can manipulate the debate system in their own party because, like I said, they're a corporation at the end of the day, they're rules. But when you're going through a general election, man, why is it up to the left and right to make the decision on who gets the debate? Now, they put that in the League of Women Voters at one time, but I don't think that's in their hands no more. So who in the hell are they to determine who gets to be on the debate stage? If that person won a nomination in their party, they get to go up against it. It was foolishness. Jill Stein tried her best to get her way into that debate because a lot of people supported her, and it's their right because it's democracy. She has a right to run. It's not a spoiler. She has a right to run, and she has a right to gather votes. And she don't have a right to. She don't have to say, "Well, since I lost, I'll support this," because she's not under anybody's dumb rules. Yet at the same time, again, the Democratic Party runs this corporation. This corporation is ran by the DNC. And this DNC determines the rules and regulation. Right now, Jamie Harrison is the president of the DNC. Another failed candidate. When in actuality, it would have been smarter to put Stacey Abrams in that position, another failed candidate that really have a heart for voting. I mean, it's ridiculous. But she really have a heart for voting. Put her in that position.
And she's an annoyance. Hold on now, wait a second. You guys are the media. Aren't you supposed to call balls and strikes? Instead, it's almost like they're giving advice to the White House. They risk giving her too much.
Cal, you're giving advice to Marianne Williamson, a political opponent of Joe Biden. You're giving advice and sending signals to progressives. You're giving advice and signals to other medias like you, like David Dole, TYT, Emma Vigeland, the Majority Report. You name it. You're sending signals to them, and they're taking your signals and trying to echo you because you decide to ask her to run. You're doing the same thing that they're doing. Are you going to call balls and strikes? You're going to be pro Marianne Williamson. This whole segment is pro Marianne Williamson. Now, me, I call balls and strike. I'm not pro Marianne Williamson. I'm all pro Joe Biden. Neither one of them need to be running against Trump. Trump will slaughter them in this stage right now. Biden has mess ups and mishaps in his dumb secretary of transportation, not so much. He's not looking good. Adam Anna beat him. Marianne Williamson should be able to beat him, but I don't want Marianne Williamson to be the leader of the free world. Y'all need to go back to the drawing board and start giving us these and birth a new candidate and stop giving us these Frankensteins.
Attention. And she's quite, risking her. She's a challenger to Biden. By definition, they should have to give her attention if they believe in democracy.
This ain't got nothing to do with democracy, man. Oh, if you believe in democracy, you have to give her attention. No, they don't. They don't have to do anything. The news media is haven't been in a long time about news. It's about propaganda. And you know these networks are Democratic propaganda. You know they are pro-establishment Democrat propaganda. So don't be shocked and amazed that they're not giving her any leeway. Now, if she ran as a regular Democrat, she probably would do that. But y'all got her running as a so-called outsider. So-called outsider. She's no outsider. And you're upset because they're not with it. They're not with it. But if they care about democracy and the free world, they would be. You guys gets me with this definition of what freedom and democracy is. In a capitalist society, it's all about entertainment, views, and money and advertising dollars. They ain't got to give her no chance. They ain't got to report on Joe Biden.
She's going to be an annoyance. She's an annoyance. Look at how smug they are. Look at
how smug they are. How condescending. Well, you can't get no smugger than Marianne Williamson when somebody tried to have a talk with her, debate with her, and go against her point of view. You talking about smug. You talking about elitist. You talk about condescending. I've seen her on other platforms when people challenge her. She claims she wants to go to a platform where she can challenge people, thinking that she can change somebody's point of view with her way of thinking. You're not a salesman. She's no good salesman. She's an author and a teacher, but she's no salesman. And she tries to sell people on her point of view and it don't work. And when people push back on her, she says smart, elitist, condescending things like, well, we both have, nobody can capitalize on truth. Nobody can have the weight when it comes to truth. And so I think I'm right. You think you're right. So we're okay. No, it's not that way. You convince me you're right. And I'll convince you you're wrong. Somebody's going to have to give. You know, let's agree to disagree. Let's agree to disagree, but you're still wrong. How are you going to say that? You just don't want to challenge. And when people push back, it's negative energy towards you, and you're ready to go. You can't talk about nobody being condescending. Marianne Williamson herself is condescending at times. Get out of here.
condescending they are. This is how they manufacture consent, right? This is what they do. You better not step outside of the bounds of the Overton window. If you do, you're going to get viciously mocked and derided and treated like a fool. They're insulting everybody's intelligence. By the way, a poll just came out the other day. Only 25% of Americans want Joe Biden to run again. 25.
That don't mean they want her to run. Now, going back to what he just said, let me go back to it. Let me see. I got the slip.
Intelligence. By the way, a poll just came out the other day. Only manufacture consent, right? This is what they do.
Manufacturing consent. So what the progressives, so-called progressives in the Democratic Party, is they're going to manufacture consent with Marianne Williamson. You're going to go on all their timeline and you're going to see all the people talk about, oh, how great it would be for Marianne Williamson to run. Some genuine, some of them bots. But you won't know that because you're going to think, oh, wow, people really looking into this Marianne Williamson thing. I need to look into it too. I don't mind you looking into it, but you're going to look into it. You're going to see what they see with the receipts, I guess. You're going to see what I see with the receipts. You're going to see it. And then you make your decision there. They're going to tell you why you should vote, why they're voting for Marianne Williamson. I'm going to tell you why I'm not. You can vote for all you want, but you're going to be, you're not going to say, I didn't have a clue. Not with me and other people on the internet, especially for my community, that can see the BS. Stay in your lane and do what you do. Don't come over here. I don't like Logan Paul, even though he's a natural in WWE. I don't want him in WWE. I like the natural old school wrestler. Logan Paul, stay where you at. I don't like Jake Paul trying to challenge everybody to a boxing match to these pros and get beat and get all this money. And to me, that's just what this is. Marianne Williamson is no different from Logan Paul in the WWE and Jake Paul in boxing. Opportunist. Trying to get a payday. Marianne Williamson lose this race, and I predict she will. She'll probably get on a spot on The View, or she'll probably get her own show on the Oprah Winfrey Network. And her first guest will be Barack Obama and Michelle. Gonna be a guest on Marianne Williamson's show. Y'all think I'm saying this? Stuff coming out of me, man. Sometimes I'm a seer. I can see things coming. But literally, really see things coming, not this thing that Kyle is doing. Because even Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, and anybody else, 15 million bets that's blind and Mises can see this coming when it comes to Marianne Williamson. Because it's all manufacturing consent and propaganda mixed all together.
It's you better not step outside of the bounds of the Overton window. If you do, you're going to get viciously mocked and derided and treated like a fool.
Anyway.
They're insulting everybody's intelligence. By the way, a poll just came out the other day. Only 25%.
Now he's trying to make an insult to Marianne Williamson intelligence ours. They're insulting everybody's intelligence. Bro, what they're doing right now ain't no insult to me. And it's not an insult to a whole lot of people. Because we know this is what the media do when somebody run against an incumbent. Is what they do. Who are you to run against the incumbent? Even though the incumbent should be ran against, he shouldn't have a free way in. This is what they're going to do. This is what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to smear that candidate. They're supposed to make a mockery and make that candidate shame. It's just the way it is. It's not because of Marianne Williamson. It's just the way it is, dude. If you ran there, would do that. If I ran there, would do that. Who in the hell are you to run up against? You're not a serious candidate. You're not a serious candidate. Why you're wasting our time, wasting our vote? And the young lady said that, look, she going to put her mouth on Joe Biden. She ain't putting her mouth. If she going to put her mouth on Joe Biden, it is. She will, to kiss him and coddle him with praise and admiration. She ain't talking crap about him.
Of Americans want Joe Biden to run again. 25%.
They don't. Yeah, and the other 75% say bring Trump back. The other 75% is not saying, the other 75% in the Democratic Party ain't saying give us Marianne Williamson instead. They just want a better candidate because this one sucks. And when Williamson get in that seat and don't do nothing, they're going to want another candidate. We have not really garnered support behind a second term for a candidate in a long time. The black people, the only reason we supported Barack Obama for a second term because he lied again, saying, "Look here, we're going to see. You know, I got your back. Elect me one more time. I got your back. I got your back, blacks. Bill Black. I'm a Bill Black better."
So based on that poll, shouldn't you be out here saying, hey, great, Biden as a challenger. This is, the majority of Americans want to replace him. Well, here we go. Now here's another option. Nope. They're playing defense for the Democratic establishment and the status quo.
They killed me with that Democratic establishment. Why don't you say they playing defense for the Democrats? You want to make it seem like you got two types of Democrats in the Democratic Party: establishment and outsiders, which is a lie. The moment you decide to run the Democratic Party, you became part of the Democratic Party. You're appearing to be an outsider. You may be an outsider at heart, but at the end of the day, you can't be the outsider you want to be because you're in the Democratic Party. Now, democracy is getting played out. The moment that you decide to run in the Democratic Party, you gave away your democracy because you should know that the DNC is a corporation. They dictate the rules. There are rules and regulations in that corporation that you must follow. The news media is not part of that. They're paid propagandists for that particular party, just like Fox is a paid propagandist tool for the Republicans. They're paid propagandist tool for that. So you're going to have all these media outlets that's not going to take us serious. They're supposed to be that way at the beginning. So this is no shocker again, Kyle. You're manufacturing consent just as well as MSNBC, NBC, The Root, The Griot, and the rest of them.
Already said she's disagreed with his view on the economy, which we know is always a huge issue for voters. It was in the midterms and will likely be again in 2024. And so they risk giving her attention, but also having to address this very real criticism that Biden has faced, that he is disconnected with everyday Americans who are going to the grocery store and seeing high prices on eggs and continue to feel the effects of inflation.
And that's why you run against an incumbent person, so you can bring up the issues to get him to commit to changing the issues. Now, if you happen to get some votes and get some energy and beat them, fine. No, man, I got to be part of it because I'm not voting for BSers. So you may talk the talk and talk need to be talked, but don't mean you're the one that's going to change it. But I do appreciate you bringing it to the forefront, because America needs to talk about it and it needs to be changed. And whether you change it or he change it, none of you can change it. It still need to be discussed. America don't agree with Biden on a lot of the kitchen table issues. But most Americans are not going to believe that Marianne Williamson going to bring something different to the table. Why? Because she's a guru and self-help millionaire elitist that caters to millionaire elitists. Her records prove that. The receipts are there. You can go look at it for yourself. She's not an outsider. She may be playing anti-establishment in the party, running in the party, but don't you dare be fooled. She's establishment as they come.
It's certainly an annoyance to them, but I don't think we're expecting any other prominent Democrats, especially anyone holding public office, to jump into this race.
You're right. People should just remember the role Jill Stein played in 2016 for an example of a nuisance that someone on the left can be for a Democrat.
They brought up Jill Stein. Jill Stein ran in the Green Party. And what did she get? 2%, 1%, something like that. Some very low percentage of the vote. Marianne Williamson.
Listen here. I got to slow down on this one. Because I think Kyle had Jill Stein, or TYT had Jill Stein on the show. Everybody want to blame something on Jill Stein. And I will say it again. Nobody, you don't own nobody vote. Nobody's supposed to vote for you. And nobody has to vote for you. And at times they shouldn't vote for you. You got to work and earn for a vote. Everybody running, just like you say, Marianne Williamson should have a right to run in a democracy against Joe Biden. Jill Stein has a right to run for office as a third-party person or anybody else running for office. They have a right to run. They have a right to garner votes. The difference between Jill Stein or people that's running third party, they're not obligated by law to support the eventual nominee. They're out there to get a vote. And you can lie and call them spoilers. Marianne Williamson calls herself a disruptor. Disruptor of what? Just another fancy word for spoiler. She wants to spoil the Joe Biden second term, and she has a right to. I don't think she's the one to do it. It's more stronger candidates out there. Y'all need to get y'all recruiting game up, Cal. Get your recruiting game up. If you're gonna get anybody, I'd rather you go get Nina Turner. At least she ran the race and lost twice, but that was in her district. She's more loved outside her district. I bet she can get more percentage points for running for votes for office than Marianne Williamson. And I'm not even telling you need to push her. I'm just saying I got a more respect of you picking her because at least she can hoodwink and bamboozle. Marianne Williamson ain't hoodwinking and bamboozle. At least Nina can talk the talk, walk the walk. Marianne Williamson ain't doing that. At least she's truthful. And when she's telling the truth, we'll hit her back on it. Like when she said, "You're going to be disappointed in me." I'm glad you said that. Now I'm going to disappoint you before you disappoint me. You ain't getting in office. Jill Stein. Now he's going to try to compare Jill Stein to Marianne Williamson. Jill Stein had a platform that she was running on. And one of them was reparations.
Is running as a Democrat. They can't make the argument anymore of, it was a spoiler effect. They trot out that spoiler effect argument.
They're going to make the argument a spoiler effect. They're making the argument a spoiler effect right now, Kyle. She's going to spoil the Joe Biden election. She shouldn't run. She's a spoiler, Kyle. She's spoiling the Democratic process right now, just by her saying that she's running. She ain't got to get to the level of Jill Stein. She's already at the level of Jill Stein right now. By the way, Jill Stein ain't no spoiler. She ran on a good platform, and a lot of people bought into the platform. A lot of Bernie Sanders supporter went to her because she's more closer to the platform of Bernie Sanders than anybody. And, even though the Green Party ain't where it should be, people like Kyle tell you that it ain't time to focus on the Green Party. We got more important issues. We need to get this person, in other words, doing like FDR did the Black community. We got to take care of this first. We ain't got time to focus on when we take care of this, we'll focus on this. And that's all Democratic Party do. We'll worry on third parties. Let's just get this person in office first, because that's way down the road. I'm not putting my effort down. Put my effort here too, and you should too, and blah blah blah.
And by the way, it's a dubious argument at best anyway. But they trot it out when talking about third parties. This is Marianne Williamson running as a Democrat. Now, by the way, why is she running as a Democrat? I think the answer is very simple. She wants to win. If you run as a third-party candidate...
A person running for third party is not trying to win? Folks, a third party has a possibility to win if you stop listening to people like Kyle telling you it's a long shot. Marianne Williamson is a long shot. So you want us to continue to put our energy in trying to get a progressive elected when we got progressives elected and they still are not politicking as progressives? They're still not pushing policies according to the agenda that we have, that we set. And I'm talking as a progressive guy. I used to be a part of that movement. Not there now. I do believe do believe in progressive policies, but I got some conservative policies. I guess I'm black first. I'm more focused on my community and getting what they need, because we keep getting robbed over and over again by people like Joe Biden, Marianne Williamson, and anybody in the Republican Party. We need to detach ourselves from political alliance and form a voting bloc of black people in general, FBA, Foundational Black, Native Black American voting bloc with no party affiliations. You want power? We can give you the power because nobody vote like we do. But you got to bring something to the table.
You get 4% of the vote, you're doing phenomenally well compared to most modern attempts at a third-party candidacy. She doesn't want 4.
You see how he just dumping on third-party candidacy? She don't want to run as a third party because she's too scared to do it, because she don't want to be labeled as a spoiler when she's really a spoiler cow.
4%. She doesn't think we have 40 or 50 years to build up a different party infrastructure in order to get the change that we need. She thinks we need the change.
You hear this bull crap, cow? Bull crap. This is why nothing get done when it comes to us. These Democrats and Republicans will shame you from putting your effort and support around third party. We don't have 30 and 40 years. Grow up. Get a clue. We don't have 30 and 40 years. We got to save democracy. Oh, Trump going to destroy the world. Biden going to destroy the world. It's thinking like this that's going to destroy the world. By the way, she don't have 30, 40 years. You talking about smug and arrogant, Kyle? That is smug and arrogant. We have, if it take today to 34 and 40 years, we got to have a start date. Because 30 and 40 years, you'll be saying we don't have 30 or 40 more years. After the 30th year, you're going to be saying we don't have 30 or 40 years. We have to start now. And we have to commit to it now. Or you'll never see true change in the political system. You cannot vote these Democrats in and then change the political system, because they're not. They're part of the political system. The bad parts of that.
Change right now. And Bernie Sanders, for all of his flaws, he got, I think it was 47% of the vote in the Democratic primary.
And they screwed him.
I'm no genius, but 47% sounds a hell of a lot higher than 2%. So she's running as a Democrat because she wants to win. But they're still using these...
Cal, you're proving my point even more. He got 47% of the vote. 47%. And once they find out they cheated him, he should have said, okay, now we can build a third party. He himself shot down the greatest opportunity to develop an opposition party. But yet you still want us to keep supporting these people to build an opposition party within the opposition party, and that don't make sense. You got 47% of the vote. If anybody had an opportunity to screw up the chance of getting a third party in a position to make some true changes in the system, it was your boy, your America's great favorite granddaddy, Bernard Sanders. So you can't say we got 30, 40 years when we had it right in the bag right then. If Bernie would have had enough balls to say, screw this, in that doggone WikiLeaks should have been the driving force, the evidence for him to go. It's one thing to peel off for no reason and become third party. He He had a reason to, a solid reason that everybody could have got behind on and could have justified. But he punked out. He pussed out. He cowered out and bent the knee with all that momentum and decided to give it to somebody that is anti-people and pro-corporate, Hillary Clinton. Bending the knee, going out there campaigning 42 times, sweating for a person that he know ain't got America's best interests. You're only doing that because you believe Donald Trump ain't got America's best interests at heart either, but you can't support him. Why? Because the DNC bylaws got you stuck. With 47% of the vote, you choose to bend the knee to the DNC bylaws instead of being a renegade saying, screw you in your bylaws. I'm running third party. You can sue me, whatever. And I'm taking 40%, 47% of the vote with me. Guess what? That was just 47% of mostly Democratic votes that he got in closed primaries. I guarantee you he was way above 47% if he would have won the election and it wasn't closed. 47% of the vote in a predominantly closed primary United States system. No open primaries. If it would have been open, a lot of Republicans would have put him over the top, but it was closed. And the Democrat, with their so-called democracy, and it's still that way, Kyle, closed primaries, for a great opportunity to become an opposition party outside the Democrat and Republican. Your boy fell. You should have been over there advising him to run third party instead of advising Marianne Williamson to run for president at that time.
Bogus arguments of a spoiler effect. Remember what happened when we paid attention to Jill Stein? In other words, here's the argument. In other words, Marianne Williamson is going to help Donald Trump and the Republicans. That's what. Well, hold on. If 25% of voters want Biden to run again, why can't you say Biden is helping Republicans and Trump? He's not beloved. He's not liked.
You can't say that because he's the president, right, man? He can make a shift. It's not going to happen. But he could make a shift because he has the power right now. He could do something great and get people back on this. Biden can cut a check right now for $1,500 and that 25% will jump to 47, 50% in a heartbeat. All he has to do is push one people-person policy to get people back on board. The reason Nancy Pelosi stopped Trump from getting that check out is because they thought that was going to happen. They thought that Trump would get more votes than Biden or Bernie at that time because Trump was talking about giving out some more checks. That 12%, that 25% of America supporting Joe Biden can jump up real quick with a couple of checks, bruh. So they ain't nothing. Closing that gap ain't nothing. Literally canceling student debt, not that crap that he did 6 months ago, not that BS, but literally canceling student debt can get people back on the Joe Biden train. All it takes is one policy signed, sealed, and delivered will get Joe back in the front seat. That's all. But are you going to pressure him to do that? No, you're going to still try to push Marianne Williamson to be our next president. Well, she believes in all those things. That don't mean she's going to push all those things. And you don't know if she really believes it. Just because somebody say they believe something, that don't mean they really believe it. Get out of here.
He's not what Americans want. So why wouldn't you use that same?
So what make you think she's what Americans want? America just wants somebody to look out for them. They don't give a crap who's president. They don't care if it's Trump. They don't care if it's Bump. They don't care if it's Biden. They don't care if it's Slide. They don't care if it's Mike Tyson. They want somebody that's going to care about them. That's what America wants. And the moment a president shifts and start doing something for people, the momentum will come on that person's side. Marianne Williamson is not in a position to do that. Donald Trump trying to use his money to do that. Wherever there's a disaster in America, Trump's going to show up and start throwing toilet paper and some toothpaste, and people going to eat that stuff up. What is Marianne bringing to the table? Well, I know you guys are suffering here in Palestine, Pennsylvania. I got a box of my books. I got a box of my bestseller, and take these books and let me talk to you. Let me inspire you to go forth in love and compassion, and let's get all our energy together and join forces and get on the same energy level and the same frequency. That crap ain't running for president, man. Nobody want to hear that. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like that type of talk in its right environment, but not, come on, as President Kyle. And don't get me wrong. I'm no fanboy of Joe Biden. And anybody will be a better president. You know, but Marianne Williamson is not it. I'm not a fan of just grab anything and throw it out there. You brought her to the table. There were many other people you could have brought to the table. I don't know why you didn't go search further. There's a lot of black candidates that could have been in position. I don't think a black candidate could be, after Obama, I don't think another black person will be able to run for office. Maybe so. Some people like me are saying, I don't think a guru, self-help person should be president or will be president. But that's just what I believe. That don't mean it's true. Marianne Williams is going to have to prove herself. And she got to prove herself that she have to have some receipts of really serving people, not inspiring people through books and tapes. If I need that, I get Kenneth Copeland to be president. Benny Hinn, Charles Cap. Well, rest in peace, Charles Cap. I mean, I can get any kind of televangelist to run for office if I need that. I know these things weren't supposed to go
logic to say, well, obviously we need to make a change, or else you're helping Trump and the Republicans. They would never make that argument because, again, their job on MSNBC is to play defense for the corporate Democrats. But this gets really, really interesting, guys. This is my favorite fact of
their job is to play defense for any Democrat. Any Democrat.
The day that I'm about to share with you. So look at this. In the New Hampshire Journal, Pappas decries, quote, total betrayal by Biden, says New Hampshire Democrats will invite primary challengers. Wow. So now understand something. New Hampshire Democratic Party. I mean, they are establishment Democrats. So why are they mad at Biden? Why are they effectively turning on Biden? Well, they're turning on Biden because Biden turned on them.
He said effectively turn on Biden. Don't you need they turn on Biden? And it's not a Biden situation. It's a DNC thing. The DNC want to get Biden the edge. And like I said, they're a corporation. They can do that. So they'll break a tradition to make that happen. So Kyle wants you to think, well, because they did that, or because they're planning on doing that, the New Hampshire Democratic primary party, the Democratic Party, is going to totally turn their back on Joe Biden and support Marianne Williamson. Man, get out of here with that mess.
Because Biden and the DNC decided, how can we rig the 2024 primary? Oh, I have an idea. Why don't we put South Carolina?
By the way, guys, rigging is not legal. Rigging happens all the time in every Democratic election. All the time. All day, every day. Rigging. How do you think Hillary Clinton gets all the majority of the delegates and all of a sudden Obama convinced all the delegates to go to him? Because his favor that Obama had with Howard Dean. How do you think that? They rig these elections all the time. Rigging an election don't mean it's a crime. They rig them all the time. The closed primary system is a rig system. They want to make sure no Republicans, no independent person gets to make a decision for our nominee, only registered Democrats. If you're not a registered Democrat, you don't get to say so. If you want to be a say so, you're going to have to become one of us. You have to join the code, you know. Talking about rigging. They can do this, Kyle. They can do this stuff today. Rigging is not new. This is just another way that they're going to use to rig the election.
Carolina as the first contest. South Carolina is a red state. It's a red state. And the only reason Biden Democrats want to put that first is because that's the state that saved Biden's chances in 2020. So they're trying to front load it, get a big win in South Carolina, so they can say, "Oh no, there's nothing to see here. Nobody can challenge him." Look, the vote was overwhelming in South Carolina. Look, he won South Carolina again, and it was by a wide margin. What are we even talking about here? But in New Hampshire, they are the first primary, and get this, guys, it is written in their state constitution that they have to be the first primary. So Biden and the DNC strong-armed New Hampshire and said, "First my ass, we're kicking."
If it's written in the state constitution that they have to be, how is it written in the state constitution? The Cal may be right, but it just don't seem right to me when the Democratic Party is a corporation. If you're running in the Democratic Party, they can do whatever they want. You writing it in the Constitution does not make a corporation submit to your personal state constitution, because the state doesn't represent all of the United States. So how one state can have the power of decision over entire corporations' bylaws, I don't think it's possible. So at the end of the day, yeah, I hate it. I don't want it to change either. There's certain traditions I like, but the Democratic Party calls the shot at the end of the day. And your state constitution don't override our entire Democratic National Committee rules and regulation. And if that means cutting you out of the election period, we have a right to do that because we're a corporation.
You out. And we're putting South Carolina first. Now, in New Hampshire, they know why Biden did this. They know their BS arguments about, we care about diversity, which is why we're going with South Carolina. They know that's a hollow argument. They know it's not true. They know that they're lying when they say that. The only reason they're putting South Carolina first is because South Carolina was a good state for Biden. So they are betrayed by Biden and the DNC and the corporate Democrats.
And I told you how that happened. Go back to my tapes. I'm not going to go through it again. Bernie had a majority. Kamala Harris had some. Biden had some. The only way Biden will be able to have a chance to defeat Bernie is if Kamala Harris stepped out the race and supported him and draw her support over to him. Because had not, it will be a split in the vote and Bernie would have won South Carolina. At the end of the day, they had to do some backyard dealings, because we can do that as a corporation, just to stop Bernie Sanders. And Barack Obama was in the middle of it.
Democrats. And so they haven't even conceded, like, oh, yeah, we're going to let South Carolina go. The DNC can make whatever rules they want. It's written in the New Hampshire state constitution that they go as the first primary.
It's
So
not
they
law,
can run the primary without any input whatsoever from Biden.
It's not the law, Kyle. It's not a criminal law. If they want to, they can ignore that whole state when they come to their party. They can take that. I don't know if they, let me shut up.
And the DNC and say, okay, stop us in court. Stop us in court. Go ahead, try. It's written in our state constitution. We get to go first. So there's a fight brewing between South.
I don't see how that's even constitutional. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want that to change. But how come you get to go first? That's being elitist. That's being, that's, if anything that spell elitist and condescending is your state is the only state that get to go first. Why you can't switch it every year to another state? Why it got to be New Hampshire? Why it got to be the Northeast? Why you can't start with the South? Why you can't start with the West? Why it always got to be Northeast? Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to change it. But I'm just saying, you're going to put, how is that a signed, sealed, and delivered thing? What does that prove anyway? What does it prove? Well, it proved that if you win both of those, you're destined to win the election. Well, it didn't happen with Bernie. And he won those. Well, he had a problem with Pete Buttigieg in one of those states, but that's beside the point.
South Carolina and New Hampshire, in fact, we're in the midst of it. But all of the ire of the New Hampshire Democrats is now turned on Joe Biden. And now they are welcoming primary challengers, and they're saying, maybe we'll use our institutional power here in the state of New Hampshire to get some other Democrat across the finish line.
So in other words, he's saying this is a he wanted to make it he want this to look like the party. There's certain people in the party that is mad at Joe Biden for what he just did. It was unconstitutional. It's written in our Constitution. And so to clap back, to kick back, to slap back, to smack down, to show our efforts of anger, we're not going to support Joe. We're going to support Marianne Williamson. The show just as a way of saying, just a way of sticking a stick up his butt. We're going to support her just to say, you do this to me, I'm gonna do this to you. I'm supporting Marianne Williamson. That ain't gonna happen, Kyle. That ain't gonna happen, dude. You're so giddy about this Marianne Williamson race, man, that you're delusional, bro. You're delusional. And if it did, don't mean that it's the done deal that she's gonna win. Because Biden gonna carry most of the other states. All Biden need to do is what he did in the last election. You can have the first 3 states. Now, if Marianne Williamson win South Carolina, now that's a problem. The first 2 states are mostly lily white, ultra uber progressives anyway, inside and outside the party. They may go for that if it's an open primary, but this is this is not an open primary, and it's not a closed primary. This is it's a primary, but I think they're open, which means anybody can vote, and that's the reason why it is prone that she probably would get the lead in those 2 states. Probably would get the lead in those 2 states because it's open. But when you get to South Carolina, a closed primary state, and beyond that, and all Joe Biden have to do is do what he did just now. Horrible as he is, because he was horrible before. He was horrible in the last election. He was running against somebody that was considered greatness. Bernie Sanders. Still lost. Bernie Sanders still been the knee.
Well, if the only other Democrat running is Marianne Williamson, well, that makes a little interesting pickle, doesn't it? That's a nice, cute little paradox or conundrum now, isn't it?
No, it's not a cute pickle or a paradox. It don't mean they can support her. And don't mean that they're going to clap back against him. But this guy, man, I used to like Cal, man. I mean, this guy, man, can't help but look at him. He's proud of the fact that he motivated her to run, and now he's all in. And he's trying to paint the perfect scenario for you to buy in with hopes that all these things happen. Don't hold your breath. And even if you're capable of holding your breath, don't hold your breath. Just let this thing play out. Cal paints some scenarios and pictures and have you dreaming the impossible dream. Have you doing all that kind of stuff. That's just an interesting pickle. That's just an interesting situation. They're going to, just because you were spite by changing the dates, we're going to show you our upsetness, that we're pissed off, and we're going to piss you off by supporting Marianne Williamson. That all the New Hampshire, 9 out of 10 New Hampshire people are more progressive than most people are. So 9 out of 10, they're going to support her anyway. The key is win. Doesn't mean Biden's going to drop out. Just like if Marianne Williamson lose the South Carolina primary, don't mean she should drop out. You got a long way to go in the race. Why would you drop out? But Cal is just so giddy. Look at
so
him.
Now Marianne Williamson may have some very, very powerful allies in the state of New Hampshire in the Democratic Party, and they will try to help her beat Joe Biden in New Hampshire. And then all of a sudden, we're off to the races. Marianne Williamson
Dream
early
the
primary
impossible
victory for Joe Biden.
dream.
Then the narrative changes.
Dream, boy.
And it's like, oh my God, maybe Biden is historically weak. I can't overstate how important this is. Not only do you have U.S. Congress people saying this was a total betrayal from Biden, but the entire Democratic machine in New Hampshire is now done with Biden. They are done with him.
So Cal assumed that the Democratic primary in New Hampshire is done with Biden. Where's your evidence of that? Just because one leader said one thing in that primary, whether they're done with Biden or not, don't mean they're done. Maybe just because they are upset, just because they're frustrated that they trying to get the DNC, Jamie Harrison with his crooked bootlicking behind, trying to change the primaries from the Northeast to the South, which is rigging and which is normal in the Democratic Party and normal in just about every other party. Rigging is just part of the way it is because it's in the DNC bylaws. Rigging is part of the bylaws, Kyle. Change is part of the bylaws. They can change. They can change the debate. If you don't get 5% of the vote, if you don't get 5%, 2% here, you got to get 10%. They always moving the goalposts. So I understand why people run in a party that's always moving the goalposts. Bad enough the Republicans are crap. You guys doing that, and you guys are not trying to rally to stop that. Come on, dog. Just because the New Hampshire primary is upset that they're talking about changing the first election, and it's in our bylaws that these things shall not be changed. These things shall remain forevermore. Just because it's there don't mean that the Democratic Party ain't gonna mess that up. You admit it yourself. This is a corporation. We get to do what we want to do, whether you and whoever you know like it or not. But that don't mean that they're still not going to support Joe Biden, dude. At the end of the day, a Democrat is a Democrat. Now, the people may not support, but at the end of the day, the New Hampshire Democratic Party is subjugated to the DNC, Washington, D.C.
Because he stabbed them in the back. Wow. This just got a hell of a lot more interesting now, didn't it?
And he stabbed him in the back. So he's trying to make Jamie Harrison strategy, probably with James Clyburn backing him up, Joe Biden. I told you Joe Biden looked for years. Joe Biden is not going to appear like he's being involved in it. Joe going to say, look, I ain't had nothing to do with that. And they're going to believe him. I ain't had nothing to do that. You got to take that up with the DNC. I don't run the DNC. I run the country. I don't run the DNC. Take that up with Jamie Harrison, the black guy that's in charge. The first black guy, well, it's not the first black guy. Ron Brown was the first black guy. You see what happened to him? Plane crash, right? Take that up with Jamie Harrison. I have nothing to do with that. So that don't mean they're going to be against him, Joe. All you have to do is say, hey, I didn't have nothing to do with that. Take that up with the DNC. Cal and his wild dreams.
This got a hell of a lot more interesting. So
no, it didn't.
The reaction to Marianne Williamson is exactly what you'd expect from these sorts of people. Claude Taylor here, who is a standard, resistance Democrat. I hope the Democrats will keep her off as many ballots as possible and allow her entry to 0 debates.
He's a corporate Democrat, Cal. You showing this don't mean nothing. He probably said that about Bernie too. Probably said that about Tulsi. Probably said that about a whole lot of people that may be a threat to Joe Biden. That's what standard Democrats supposed to do, Kyle. Come on.
Is not a serious candidate. And he's sharing the article from the New York Times. Marianne Williamson says she will run for president again. Again, interesting. You are the same people who were talking about democracy. Democracy. That's what we believe in. We're pro-democracy. The other guys are anti-democracy. Except now, in this particular instance, I'm not so hot on democracy. Well, let's see what the reactions are in here. From, maybe for Congress.
So he's going to show some comments. Now, a lot of them are blue checks. Knows that. I don't know if they paid blue checks or not, but a lot of them are blue checks. And most of them going to be positive. A lot of them going to be bots. You don't have no people from the streets, from the grassroots movement making these comments.
MAEBE for Congress. Although you may not be familiar or aware, Marianne Williamson is a very serious candidate, one who has helped many down-ballot progressive candidates. Her anti-corporate messaging is something everyone should appreciate. Holding the status quo accountable is what we need. Somebody else.
Show me how she helped people in down ballots. Tell me some candidates that she went to campaign for, that she went to back, that she encouraged people to finance. At least Hillary Clinton was rigging it where the money went to her and it went to them or something like that. I know Marianne Williamson ain't going to do that. Joe Biden probably won't do nothing crooked as that either. But of course, you're going to have these people saying positive things about Marianne Williamson, which is their right, but don't mean that she is it. Like I said, a lot of times these are bots.
She's the favorite. I'm not saying she's going to win. Of course, I don't know that. And of course, it would be absurd to say she's the favorite. But I will say, you fight as a matter of principle. Marianne Williamson is a trillion times better candidate than Joe Biden is. And you find the meaning.
Trillion times, Cal. A trillion times better than Joe Biden. Let's say I agree with you on that, Cal. That Marianne Williamson is a trillion times better than Joe Biden. So is Kermit the Frog. So is Donald Duck. So is Alvin the Chipmunk. Don't mean that they need to be running for president, dude. This dude's gonna die on his sword for Marianne Williams, just like he's dying on his sword for Bernie Sanders, a man who betrayed the revolution.
And the purpose in the fight to get her elected. We know it's an uphill battle. We know it's difficult, but that's why you do it. That's why.
He's talking we, like he's a general in a progressive army. He thinks in his mind that he has so much political sway that he can convince you, just like these numbnuts corporate Democrat news people, that they can convince you to support this person. He's no different from Al Sharpton say a man who don't vote for Stacey Abrams is a sexist. I don't know what's wrong with him. Something wrong with him. Something deeply and strangely is wrong with that man. Cal Kulinskiki is going to say that about somebody who support Joe Biden over Marianne Williamson, or somebody who don't support Marianne Williamson and won't vote for her. You guys losing your mind. We have a chance here, and you're just going to throw it all away. Come on, guys. We know it's going to be an uphill battle. I admit that. It's going to be an uphill battle, but we need to battle. We, like we in France somewhere, Negro, with this we stuff.
Why you engage. Because what's the other option? Sit out, be nihilistic, pretend like you're above it all, and then actively will.
So if you sit out, you're pretending like you're above it all. Sit out. Well, if you sit this one out, you're nihilistic and think you're better than everybody else. See, that's voter shaming. Kyle is voter shaming you. We got a candidate. We got another chance and another Bernie. He haven't passed the torch, but I'm going to take the torch from her and I'm going to pass it to somebody else. And I get to pick who you should run for president. I mean, who you should vote for. I, myself, Kyle, me and my boo. We're going to pick who you're going to vote for. We're going to tell these people they should run. And we're going to tell them, don't worry about it. We're going to get our people. We're going to get progressives to support you because we got that much power over the progressives in the Democratic Party and outside the Democratic Party. And I said, no, you don't. No, you don't, Kyle. And we'll be here, myself and a bunch of other people around here, telling you no. If you fall for this stupidness, Something wrong with you. A revolution is a revolution. A revolution don't cow down and support a person in a party, in a counter-revolutionary party. You don't do that. Well, I'm going to support the next general who's going to take over the army because he may not be as bad. He don't seem to be as bad as the other person. He get in office, he's just as bad, even worse. Get out of here. We don't want you. We want to destroy this opposition party, or we want to build an army to fight it, to fight that army and that army. Here he is. You got to get in there with us. You got to get in there one more time. Get in there with us, because you sit out. Something wrong with you, and voting third party is a 30-year effort. It'll never happen. Yeah, it'll never happen if we keep listening to fools like you and not start today.
Still into existence your prediction that this is going to go nowhere and she's going to collapse and it's done. What's the point of even fighting?
Dude, so he's trying to say he's talking like Marion Wilson, The Secret. You know, she was on The Secret. So he's done seen The Secret now. And I think The Secret is crystal. He's seen through the crystal ball the secret of Marion Williamson. That's it. And for you to have a negative thought about Marion Williamson is a bad thing. You got a negative thought about Joe Biden, man. That ain't just as bad. Get out of here. Why don't you will positive thoughts about Joe Biden like you want us to will positive thoughts about Marion Williamson, dude? Get out of here. If we don't like the candidates that's been put before us, we have a right to say, I don't like them. They shouldn't be in their place. Stay in your lane. Go back to running these hotels and these casinos and businesses, or go back to selling your books and teaching in these circuits and Hollywood elites and advising them. Go back to that, or go home to your grandkids, bruh. You too old to run. We can think like that, Kyle. That's not negative. That's not nihilistic. That's not better than. We can do that. You don't have the freedom to do this. We're in a crisis. You got to get your head straight. Just because you think your head's straight don't mean that my head is not straight, dude. Maybe your head is not straight and mine's straight. Have you ever thought about that? Talking about condescending and arrogant.
Well, again, that's why I say you fight as a matter of principle. You say, I know this person.
So fight as a matter of principle means you got to get in here and fight with us against Joe Biden. But at the end of the day, if Joe Biden win, we all going to support Joe Biden. I say, I'm tired of fighting you guys. I'm tired of fighting with you, because I come to find out you're my enemy too. It seems like the more I start throwing blows at this person, every time I throw blows at this person, you hit me in the back of the head. Something ain't right, Doc. I come to find out you're my enemy too. You don't want progress for my people. You don't want my people to have equality to your people. You're just as bad. And you always want me to throw it off on the Republicans. Oh, hate, bigot, racism, stuff like that. And I'm looking at y'all and I see just as much hate, bigot, and racism. Y'all the same. White supremacy take both sides of the aisle. One's up front and one's low key. Friend of yours got his shoulder on you on one side, but on the other side, he got a knife waiting to stab you in the back. Only going to use you to benefit them. And I'm tired of that. You're not going to use me. You're not going to use my community to benefit you. You're going to benefit us. If you want us to do anything for you, you're going to have to do something for us. It's your turn to step to the plate. We've stepped to the plate for 40, 50 years. And everybody getting to play but us. Everybody eating but us. Everybody getting laws to pass to protect them but us. And you'll probably sit here and say, then that's why you need to vote for her. Man, if you don't carry your old condescending, let me shut up. Let me calm down.
Would be better than Joe Biden. I know her heart's in the right place. I know she's going to fight for stuff like $15 minimum wage.
How did you know, Kyle? I know her heart is in the right place. I know she's gonna fight. You said that about AOC. You said that about Rashida Tlaib. You said that about most of the squad, and they ain't done it yet. When they had opportunity, they failed to capitalize on it. So, man, stop with this, man. I know. You don't know jack.
Wage, getting money out of politics, getting universal health care, etc. And so you fight as a matter of principle. And even if you don't get to the finish line, at least you left it all out there.
So in order for me to fight a principle fight, I got to support your candidate, right? Otherwise, I'm not principled. Your fight matter of principle. So my stance to say, if you don't have a black agenda, if you don't support reparations, if you don't support our vision for reparations, our way, and if you don't yield and bend the knee to our platform of reparations, if you don't, then that's not a position of principle. A position of principle is standing for what you believe. And if you ain't supporting the things that I believe, I'm not standing with you. But she does support. No, she support the idea, but she don't support the things I believe. Go into detail on the things I believe. She disagrees with some of it. That's because I have my nobody can capitalize on true. I have my version of truth. You have your version of truth. We just got to come, we're not going to see eye to eye. That's it. Somebody's not willing to come off her stance. How often has Marianne Williamson shift to another person's point of view? Rarely. Because she's always standing. When you stand in a position of advisor, you don't hardly take advice. You've been advising all these years, and now people are giving you some advice and you don't want to accept it. Cal, you need to stop this crap. If you don't support her, it's a matter of principles. That matter of principle is another worm on the hook to reel you in to the Democratic Party. And don't you dare bite that hook. I'm Bobby Brown with the Bobby Brown Show. I don't even need to finish this thing. I've been gone too long. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Put it on always. Make sure you're subscribed still, because I haven't been up here in a while. So you've probably been unsubscribed. So go make sure that you're subscribed. If you want us to support the stream, the information is right there above Cal's blonde hair. Why? Why? Who told you to turn your hair blonde, dude? Who told you to do that? Oh, I know who. I feel like singing some Babyface song. You got that whip appeal. Boy, I tell you that Crystal Ball must got that whip appeal. Had you turn your hair up like, my lady told me, I want you to cut that beard. I'm like, girl, you must be at your doggone mind. How about you cut yours? No, I'm just kidding. No, I ain't cutting my beard for you. Even if I was married, I'm not cutting my beard for you. I might trim it up, make it look nice. I ain't cutting my beard. I like the beard. I do it because I like it. Yeah, boy, I tell you, certain things that make you change your mind and make you think a certain way and make you believe in an impossible dream. And Marianne Williamson is an impossible dream. I'm not saying it's not possible, because we got a horrible candidate to run that she's running up against, man. I mean, this should be an easy race. The last race should have been easy. But Bernie Sanders quit. Had he not quit, there's a possible chance that he could have won. There's a possible chance that he could have won, but he didn't. And at the end of the day, he's still a Democrat. And if you're supporting if you support or part of a crooked system like the Democratic Party, I don't trust you. I don't care who you are, and I'm not going to support you if you're part of that party and you're more concerned about the party than people. Same thing for Republicans. I don't trust you. Now, if you care more about the people in the streets, I don't care about your party affiliation. I care about you because you care about the streets. You have a track record of caring for the streets. Your family have a track record of caring for the streets. Cal, you didn't look good enough for a candidate. Why is that? Maybe laziness. Maybe you know Bernie now is going to run, so you're looking for the new Bernie. I tell you, seeing Marianne Williamson and picking her mean to me, did you even try to look hard enough? Because there's a whole lot of people better than her. Like, subscribe, share. Make sure you hit the PayPal account if you want to buy a brother a drink or something like that. A little sangria, the coffee. Get a grilled cheese sandwich. You want to buy a brother a Junior's cheesecake from Junior's in Brooklyn? Right there. Other than that, I'm here because I'm supposed to be here. I love you. Thank you for watching. Good night.